È un onore per me avere Peter Burman che invitiamo sul palco. Join me on the stage. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Please. Peter Burman, President, EF Corporate Solution.
Good morning, everybody. We switched to English just before lunch, okay?
Okay.
Yeah? I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian, so. But if you have problems following me, you can talk to me afterwards. We can help you, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Help me. I apologize for my bad English, especially with you. Peter works for one of the biggest players in English language learning, EF. So the first question, obviously, is what about EF's CSR perspective?
Yeah. Well, so EF Education First is the world's largest privately held education company, and we've been around for 50 years. And we have offices in schools in 50 countries. We operate about 500 schools. So obviously we're a very global company, and we feel that it is our responsibility to use our global presence and influence to do good and to do CSR. So it's very important for us. I'm going to tell you about two projects that we do. So the first one is called the EF Global Classroom Foundation. And it's a foundation that we have set up to provide educational opportunities for underprivileged people, and also to provide disaster relief. So, for instance, right now, we are in Nepal. As you know, there was a big earthquake in Nepal in April this year. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their homes, and a lot of buildings were destroyed. So we have a team in Nepal that is building an elementary school. So we're helping in an area that we know best, education. And this elementary school will provide schooling for 1,000 kids between 6 and 15 years old. And this is not something we've done marketing about at all, because for us it's an internal thing. But our founder, Mr. Bertel Hult, who founded our company 50 years ago, he actually emailed all EF staff, that's 45,000 people around the world, about this project. And we have a blog, so the team in Nepal is blogging weekly so that all EF staff can follow what's happening. So we're very proud of this project. The other CSR project I wanted to mention is we have a business school called HULT, which is actually one of the top business schools in the world. And in 2009, we created something called the HULT Prize Foundation. And it's basically a yearly event where student teams from around the world collaborate in teams and compete and try to solve some world problems like hunger, water purification, etc.
So two completely different targets for you.
To completely different target group. So these student teams, some of the most brilliant, intelligent minds in the world, are competing to solve problems. And last year's winner was a student group from India that formed a company called Nano Health. So they received $1 million every year. The winning student team receives $1 million from EF's founder, Mr. Bertel Hult, and it's famously handed out by Bill Clinton as part of the Clinton Global Initiative in New York. So this team got $1 million and created something very exciting, which they called Doc in a Bag, so Doctor in a Bag, which is basically $50,000 worth of medical equipment, but it costs only $500. So with this equipment, people are able to go out into the slums in India, in Mumbai, for instance, and diagnose people, so that they know what illness they have, which is, of course, the first step of curing diseases. So the city of Mumbai has actually helped Nano Health. Nano Health now has done, I think, 10,000 people altogether. They are employing hundreds of people. So I think this is an example of how CSR can lead to innovation, because, of course, if Nano Health had not received this $1 million in seed funding, they would not have been able to innovate and to come up with this product that is now curing lots of people in the slums. So it's kind of an innovative way to do CSR.
So many people, so many money, very interesting projects. But in your opinion, what does it take to make the successful CSR?
Well, I think it's, I mean, there are many things. You know, we heard this morning from Mr. Saverio Tridico from Vodafone. You know, CSR actually started out as a quite negative thing. Milton, because we heard this morning, Milton Friedman said that companies should be making money, not being social. So I think people are quite cynical. People are naturally critical of all initiatives that companies undertake in order to do good. In today's world, people are very connected over social networks, so it's easy to be criticized for CSR projects. So I think there are two things you can do. One thing is a CSR project has to be real, it has to be authentic. And the second thing is something I call the musketeer principle. But if we look at authenticity first, so I think it has to really do good and align to the business. One example of a very failed CSR project in the last year was the company Starbucks. I don't know if you heard about it, but they did something called Race Together, where Starbucks customers were supposed to ask the local barista about race relations, and they were going to have a discussion about race. And obviously that failed completely because it didn't have authenticity. First of all, the local baristas, they are not experts on race relations. And second, it's kind of out of context when you're ordering your coffee to start to discuss race relations. So the project really failed and they got really bad press. I think the intentions from Starbucks obviously was really good, but it lacked authenticity. It didn't feel natural and real. So there has to be a logical reason why you do your CSR project. And then the second quality, the musketeer principle, I think it's something. Do you remember the musketeer motto? So all for one and one for all. So in CSR, this is about being able to connect with people. So people need to be able to engage with the CSR project. Employees need to be able to articulate and understand the CSR project. It needs to be something that involves the whole company. So one example of that is EF and this Nepal project, because of course everybody in our company understands that we have the know-how of education and how to build schools. Another example is actually Marks & Spencer, the British retailer. They've done a very interesting CSR project where I think it was 2007, they decided to do 100 initiatives in CSR in order to become the world's most sustainable retailer. And one thing they did, talking about the musketeer principle, was that they created an online community for their 2,500 suppliers, where the suppliers could discuss and share ideas on how to make their business more sustainable. So in this way, Marks & Spencer managed to engage not only their own employees, but also their wider audience and suppliers in these issues. And that's an example of how you can unite people around your CSR initiative. So I think it's authenticity, keeping it real, having a real relation to your line of business, and then the musketeer principle, all for one, one for all, so that everybody gets engaged and gets excited and gets behind it. And it's not easy, but it's worth it if you do it. And I think everybody in this room, everybody in every company around the world wants to feel like they are part of doing something good. So it can be very powerful.
It's not easy, but never give up.
It's not easy, and like I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, it seems impossible until it's done, right? So it's absolutely possible. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Burman. Now is definitely lunchtime.
Thank you, Peter. It's an honor to have you in our community. Thank you very much. Thank you.